The question is, are you just dishonest or are you getting paid to lie? I think people here are interested to know that.
I think what's really shocking about this is the way he kind of just walks right into Moscow and presents himself on a silver platter to the Kremlin, doing the Kremlin's job of misinforming, disinforming the American population.
Wait a minute, Julia. The only group shocked by what an independent journalist like Tucker is doing is the corrupt establishment propaganda media and activists like you. Now, just like our own politicians, Putin is not an innocent guy. But it's obvious that you're just mad that with the Tucker interview, he will be able to present his side of this story. I mean, the war has gone on for 2 years. People are dying. And y'all only care about sending more taxpayers' money to Ukraine to continue the war, which only causes more people to die. So if you had just a bit of integrity, you would be interested in this interview instead of calling it misinforming and disinforming the American population like a fucking NPC you are.
Look, I don't care if things are 3 years old. I don't want to forget. And I think Americans have a very short attention span and we have a very short memory. And I think...
Anna, I actually agree with you on the decreasing attention span. But it's sure interesting that you have all these selective memory options where you choose not to forget about the January 6th while you have forgotten all about the BLM riots. We don't need to remember that, right? I mean, down the memory hole, when the rioters literally tried to take over the White House, to the point that the Secret Service had to move Trump to the White House bunker. Do we care about that? Do we need to remember that? How about when the Roe v. Wade protesters took over the Wisconsin Capitol? That was as recent as 2023. And you're not Joe Biden, and you can't blame your dementia for forgetting about that one.
Do you feel like Elon Musk is going to get pressed to get in there one way or another?
Well, it would be good for Elon Musk. That's certainly true because, you know, he'll have some more trouble in the Biden administration if there's a second Biden administration around a bunch of things. And so Trump would be a savior for him in that regard because he would lay off of him and let him continue to do what he's been doing.
Would he ever put money on them?
I'm sorry. We can't let that one slip. You just said Elon Musk will have troubles if there is a second Biden administration for a bunch of things, and that if Trump wins, he will let him continue doing what he's doing. What is Elon Musk doing aside from running successful companies and not doing anything illegal? Because the only thing that made people like you, the left and the Biden administration change their tone about Elon Musk is that he turned X into a free speech platform. So to me, what you just said sounds like a threat. It sounds like if Biden wins, he's going to go after Elon Musk because he's providing free speech. Am I wrong for that assumption?
Kara Swisher, thank you very much.
Talking about fun moments, I love the John Cena little moment where, you know, which was
not
fun.
Wearing much.
Who could have an issue with him showing up wearing an invitation? You know, that only guy who could look good like that.
Excuse me, Anna. Having a naked man walk on a stage during primetime television that children are most likely watching only happens in a society that has removed morality from itself. Now, you call that a fun moment. Some call it degradation of men. Others call it Hollywood humiliation ritual. I just call it gay.
Oh!
And we have no choice.
Yeah, okay. I will say that it is a decision that we revisit constantly in terms of the balance between allowing somebody to knowingly lie on your air about things they've lied about before and you can predict they are going to lie about. And so therefore it is just, it's irresponsible to broadcast.
Excuse me, Rachel. You sit here every day crying about democracy being in danger. And now you're sitting here, live on air, censoring the presidential nominee. Here's what you should do. Go fuck yourself.
What do you think Putin has on Trump?
Well,
What has he got?
I actually think that
Money.
Donald Trump views himself as a Putin-esque
Leader.
dictatorial figure.
Yeah.
He said it.
I'm sorry, but Joy, let me start with you. I have listened to you a lot to the point that I feel bad for my brain cells. And I find it amazing that you always call things that goes against your side conspiracy theories. Yet you sit here and say Putin has something on Trump. In fact, you've been doing that for years. And by your own definition, that right there is a conspiracy theory. You are a conspiracy theorist, and you should be deplatformed. You're a standard, not mine. And Hakim, Trump kiddingly said he wants to be a dictator for one day to close the border. So my question is, why would you take him out of context to promote a false narrative, aka a conspiracy theory?
If you want to do something about it, two things I tell everybody. Talk about it. If we were talking about climate change, the way we talk about a bunch of other very important issues, we'd be doing something about it. And then the thing to do about it really is to vote. You know,
Wait a minute, the Obamas talk about it, yet they spend $11 million on a beach house, and they don't seem to be concerned about it raising sea levels. Celebrities and politicians, they preach the same message, but they buy multiple houses, cars, and private jets. They don't seem to be concerned. I mean, the banks, they give out 30 years mortgages on houses that, according to you, will be underwater before they get their money back. So can you make it make sense?
We can do this, people. Thank you.
We can do this.
I did not break the law.
Why would he want to remember the day that his son died? Why? We're not the most intelligent, maybe, in the world, but we're telling you the truth.
Wait a minute, Joy. I agree with you that y'all are not very intelligent. But saying that you tell the truth is an insult to the word truth. I mean, y'all been sitting here for years saying that Trump is not above the law, Trump is not above the law. Yet the DOJ just confirmed that Biden actually broke the law and they didn't even charge him. So I don't hear you saying Joe Biden is not above the law. Instead, you are making excuses for him. And it's so obvious how dishonest you are. And again, you just confirm your lack of intelligence. So thank God I'm on this panel to bring you some fucking intelligence.
He loves to mush a lot of stuff in what he says, and then his campaign says, oh, he was only joking, or oh, it was taken out of context. He wasn't talking about violence in the country. I call BS on that. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are wrong. If you look at the longer version of the video, it becomes pretty clear that he was talking about the automotive industry. In fact, I got a video right here.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line. And
Yeah, I wish I could.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question. Do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless.
Broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like, I think in the political moment.
I mean, love it. And by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men.
Excuse me, the ABC network, which is hosting this show, would have canceled the show if it were a panel of men saying that women are useless. I see the producer right there. I wonder what you think about this one. Y'all would have called them misogynists, and the media would have destroyed the lives of those men. That's something to reflect on. And aside from that, everything you just said were emotional responses, but that's to be expected from a low IQ panel.
Trust has been eroding in recent years, which is why this week's meeting on rebuilding trust has been so important.
Rebuilding trust with whom exactly? I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. But here's the thing, as far as the public opinion is concerned, they don't trust you and they never will, because they didn't elect you. And here's the thing, while we at it, Epstein didn't kill himself, and there are probably people in this very forum who were clients of his.
Seemingly, this is a world filled with no women.
If you look at the way tech is, you have to imagine, I guess, straight white men are the only people who are intelligent in this world. Like, right? Like, that can't be, and it isn't true.
Yeah.
And they need diversity. There's this.
Excuse me, Kara. I'm amazed how we just put all that on a straight white man, but that's okay because you're a lesbian white woman, so of course you would let that overshadow your logic. Because here's the thing, while societal expectations and biases may play a role, they're not sole determinants of career outcomes. Because here's the reality, are you ready? There is psychological and biological differences between men and women that affects their interests and priorities, leading them to pursue different career paths. On average, women may be more inclined towards people-oriented professions, while men may lean towards technical or object-oriented domains often associated with STEM fields like technology. And that's not an opinion, that's just years of research and has nothing to do with straight white men. Now, what you think about that?
The real threat here is the one you identified just now, and that is Donald Trump, who says there's a problem at the border, but he wants that problem to get worse, to continue to be a problem so that he can run on it next November. This is a man who puts himself first and puts the United States of America way behind
I'm sorry, that's called running for president. So you look at your opponent and the horrible job he's doing protecting the country or the economy. I think we all agree it's not doing very well. Then you run on those issues. It's very that simple. So Pocahontas here said a lot of words and still managed to make no sense at all.
Senator Elizabeth Warren, thank you for your time. Sarah?
Like, he used him as his puppet, and it exposed what many of us have been saying about Tucker Carlson. He's a Kremlin puppet who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
It's just such a disgrace, I think, to our country that an American would give him any kind of platform to propagandize.
Wait, if I may, I'm amazed at the level of self-projection going on here. I mean, Alicia, you work for ABC, Tucker works for himself. Objectively, you are a puppet and he's not. And Sonny, you're basically saying that Tucker shouldn't be allowed to have a voice. That's the opposite of the democracy that you preach every time we are here. And finally, none of you had any examples on what Tucker has said that was a lie or propaganda. But I'm too nice, so I will give you another chance. Give me some specific examples to back your claims. Let's go.
Closing remarks there from Attorney General James. Now that we've wrapped here in court today, how strong do you think the case is, and do you expect this judge to go all the way up to the $300 million mark in the fine?
Ari, before we get to this obvious witch hunt, let me give you some actual news. So, according to the White House visitor logs, we now know that Letitia James visited Joe Biden's White House 3 times while investigating Donald Trump. Now, would you say that Joe Biden is a danger to our democracy for colluding with a prosecutor to take down his opponent, or are you just a dishonest piece of poo?
The thing that I really think people need to understand about immigration, it's not a crisis. And the other part about immigration is it's not the problem that Republicans say it is. They say that immigrants run up crime. That is not true, and it hasn't been true for 140 years.
Sonny, I like the way you gaslight your audience by using the word immigration instead of illegal immigration, when you know damn well that the country is in a crisis when it comes to illegal immigrants. Then you make a strawman argument by saying that they say that immigrants run up crime when that hasn't been true for 140 years. Then you pat yourself on the back. Now, the question is, are you just dishonest or are you getting paid to lie? I think people here are interested to know that.
We continue to call on governments to maintain surveillance and sequencing for their populations, to be vaccinated, to wear masks.
I'm sorry, but I think it's time for you and the World Health Organization to tell the people the truth. Tell them that COVID came from a Chinese lab. Tell them that you're hiding it from the people. Tell them what you're working on. Disease X, what is that about? Tell them that a corrupt big pharma doesn't care about people's health. They only care about selling the vaccine.
And the judge kept on imploring his attorneys, control your client, and they could not. Someone like that lacks impulse control should be nowhere near nuclear numbers, right?
Sonny,
nuclear codes.
The nuclear talking points aren't really holding up, and if you had a sense of reality, which you don't, you would have seen that. Because here's the reality. Under 4 years of Donald Trump, there were 0 new wars. But the moment your guy, Joe Biden, took office, this country has actively supported or engaged in 3 new wars. That's the Ukraine war, Hamas-Israel war, and we just started bombing Yemen. So again, 0 wars under Donald Trump, 3 new ongoing wars under Joe Biden. So don't talk to me about Trump's temperament and the nuclear codes because you don't know what you're talking about, and respectfully, you sound very dumb.
What do you think would be the consequences for our country if this court rules that somebody who egged on an insurrection that was an insurrection for him to remain in office remains on the ballot? If they rule that he can stage a coup and then run again, what do you think the consequences of that will be?
Well, the consequences will be that, firstly, of course, the voice of the people will be heard and they get to choose their president. And secondly, on the night of election, if or probably when he wins, people will get to watch you and lying chef here cry live on air like the little bitches you are.
Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you for your time. Much appreciated.
And I appreciate the World Economic Forum providing me the opportunity to be on this stage and say, fuck you, Klaus Schwab, and fuck your New World Order. We, the people, were born free. We will stay free. And you and all of your globalist friends, including everyone in this room, can go fuck yourself.